Hi, I'm Kendra Hinkle, and making the decision to make this video and to be baptized in front of the congregation has been a struggle and a difficult one for me. I was raised up north in a culture that's wonderful in some ways, but somewhat maybe a little bit mocking of Christianity and of faith. And people up north who might watch this might think that I drank the Kool-Aid, or that being part of a Southern Christian church might speak to being a part of intolerance or even ignorance. But I would want to say to my friends up north that might watch this sometime that that's not what I found in this church at all, but acceptance and love and really a new life. So I'm someone who struggles with anxiety in my life, generalized anxiety disorder and social anxiety. It was kind of triggered by September 11th, 2001, and then I had kids, and all of a sudden my heart was walking around outside of my chest, and that was difficult for me. And I was in a bad place where I felt like if I pictured in my head every horrible thing that could happen to my children in this scary world, that it wouldn't have to happen to them. That's not a healthy place to be. So I sought help, and I went to psychologists, and I learned techniques, mindful meditation, cognitive behavioral therapy, medication, and those things were a huge help to me. Breathing. So helpful. Really changed my life. But I was still worry, and I would dwell and feel like somehow I could control this life, which I can't. So when things started happening, challenging things the past few years have been very challenging. It seems like difficulty after difficulty, and then a little bit more difficulty on top. And I couldn't handle it anymore. And I started to talk to my sister-in-law, and she started to talk to me about God. Well, I'd always believed in God, but just kind of whatever I felt like believing at that time. I hadn't really given it a lot of thought. And she talked to me about laying my troubles at God's door and giving them to Him and talking to God. And I started doing that just conversationally, like, hey God, how's it going? And I was in a place a couple years ago where I didn't have any connections in my life beyond my immediate family. And we lived in North Carolina, which is 2 hours away from my parents who lived here. And of course my family was all up north. And just didn't have connections, didn't have the energy to go out and make connections. And I was in a bad place. And talking to God helped so much. And laying it at His door and giving it up was such a help to me. And then coming here to Greenville and finding this church has been such a blessing to me and has really allowed me to grow in my faith and for my family to grow in their faith. And I'm just so pleased to be able to accept Jesus as my Lord and Savior and renew my life. And I'm just so thankful for the changes. Life's still hard. Life's really hard, but I'm very thankful. My anxiety is a part of me, but God and the wonderful people He has put into my life are helping me to overcome. I'm very thankful.